In the past 2 days, we've gone to 2 different dog shows, and neither one of them we qualified. I think the match shows that we've been going through 2 are so that everybody gets, judged in pairs of 2. And then, what do you call it? They're then separated into 2. You're either blue or you're red. Fairly straightforward. And then after that, both the blue and the red team, they're then grouped into a bigger bunch of dogs, and then out of this big bunch of dogs they pick 4 dogs, and then these 4 dogs, they get some kind of present, and they get when the first one we got a present even though we didn't qualify, but then these 4 dogs get some kind of present. You get food or something, and then the winner of both groups, red and blue, they move forward to this kind of best in show. So basically all the judges come together and then they evaluate the dogs based on, I don't know what characteristics they use. It's today's show, they give us a bit more time and instructions on how to do it. And even the owner, because I then compiled a video out of it and sent it to Nina on Facebook, and she then gave comments of how we did and what was good and what was wrong and all of that. Well, I think it's good feedback, and I think we're going to go and get a training regarding this, how to behave in a match show like that, or a proper dog show. But we'll see how it goes. Regarding the Mavic, I have now been following these deliveries. It's funny, they take 2 different routes. One has now gone from Gatwick to Copenhagen and has left Copenhagen. Don't know where it is at the moment. So the last update was on Friday that they gave us. So that device is on its route through Copenhagen, and then the other device, it went from their location to Heathrow, to Gatwick, to Brussels. And now it has left Brussels, and I have no clue where it is and what it's doing, but it should arrive. The first one should arrive on Monday, and the second one should arrive on the Tuesday. So I'll superimpose the actual 2 different delivery images that I have for their current standing, and it baffles me. I've already had suggestions. Yes, you're getting 2 drones. You just keep quiet and not tell anybody, and we'll just keep it hush hush. But obviously, when I get a delivery, I'll open it up to see what is in there. But if there are 2 drones in there, then I shall actually send them an email and saying that you have made a mistake, that you sent me 2 drones instead of 1. Yeah, that's what I need to do. It's a tempting idea to keep them. If they even are. We don't know yet whether they are or not drones. And I took videos from both of the dog shows. Terhi didn't like it because she doesn't like to be on a video, but I took from both dog shows. They were more thorough today. They took more time. So my video from the first one, it was something like 2 or 3 minutes, and it was slam bam, thank you ma'am, at the door. But here they took their time, and they were coaching a lot more and kind of demanding more. I think one of the things was that how Rudy walked. He was galloping laukaa instead of ravi. I don't know if that's the term, but they were looking for a certain type of leg work, but he didn't do it. So they stopped him and then go on, stopped him, go on, stopped him. But and now there is the slight possibility that, or I don't know if it's slight or not. I haven't been communicating about this, but this Nina, because she's going to use Rudy for breeding, she's going to send him to, or take him to Latvia in order to get certain certificates or something like that. Which, you know, it is a good idea in the sense that then we remember the first week that she was off with Nina, because there was a certain rigor to the method to the madness. I think he was more controlled when he came back from there. Yeah, and we took Elisa today. Elisa was with us, and she was operating the D60 up there with the Rode mic on it. I didn't take this D70 and the expensive lens because they're kind of, you know. But anyway, and yeah, that's one thing on my MS side, is that I was walking in the hall because I have an experience that spaces where there's a lot of chatter going around and there's crowded people just dashing back and forth, you feel very unstable, or it's an unpleasant environment to walk. And I was walking through it, and I distinctly, because I remember it was absolutely covered in ice, the parking lot and everything like that. So it's horribly difficult to get in there. So I had to struggle through that. Regardless of your disease or not, you would have struggled. And then when I came into the hall and I was walking, and I was kind of wondering, I don't feel this kind of sensation in my legs that I had run a marathon, and so I was feeling more able to move about, which is very positive. And then yeah, today has been a good day. Rudy and Terhi just came in. We have now taped his ears in a new way. He is, well, I'll post a picture, but basically the ear taping, it's a very much better way of taping than the one that we were previously using, because those they would drop out in a matter of a day, maybe even sooner than that, when he shook his head. But now these, they've stuck on like crazy. And yeah, Sophia's home. So today's an interesting day. It's the day that the drone is supposed to arrive, but don't know whether it will or not. I've actually got 2 packages arriving. One comes today, or the estimation is today, 8 a.m. to 7:30 today, or then other one with the same delivery window coming tomorrow. So I'm waiting for a text message to confirm which it is. But you know, you really don't know what's gonna happen. And but anyway, I'm gonna take the car today in order to be able to take a mad dash back home to check out, because if there's some complication, because sometimes they don't give these more expensive deliveries to your kids or your wife or something like that, so you need to personally be here to take the delivery. But that's why I'm taking the car. And then it's going to be studying like crazy to see what the thing is and what it does and what it doesn't do. But yeah, interesting day. And tomorrow, oh no, not tomorrow. Yeah, oh, sorry. Tomorrow there might be another drone coming, as I mentioned. I've got 2 deliveries coming, so not sure what will happen. And today, it's another day at work. I'm responsible of converting an old database application into Documentum, which is, let's say, it's a database application, fine, fair enough, but they have used the fields in creative ways, and our previous solution was a comma separated file. Was the way of transferring the data from the customer to us. But the problem was that all the libraries that we tried to read a comma separated file, they broke. So there was a line, there was an enter, there was some kind of character that broke the form. It kind of broke the library reading the file, and then we would get random data. So we decided, because Excel was the only thing that was able to open it fairly good. So we opened up an Excel and then converted that into XML. And then the XML, we thought it was fairly alright. And then we took that and wrote our program around that. And it did the job. The problem is that it took the program about, well, let's say over 10 days to run, and even then we were a bit iffy whether it would be able to complete in the allotted time that we have for it. So we killed 2 birds with a single stone. So the unreliability that comes with fiddling with the files and the formats, that's been removed, because we're reading directly from the database, and then there's the performance question, because XML, maybe I've talked about this before, but the XML, it takes up to 3 times more memory than the actual file size, which is a memory strain. So now we're reading straight from the database and creating the objects into Documentum. and it is a pain. And yeah, one of the things that it's not enough that we can read from the database, because the person exporting the data for us, originally they used scripts. So basically it was WebQL, no, it was some weird web scripting language that they used to produce files for us, which resulted, or they didn't just produce the data, they converted it and manipulated the data on the way out. So now we don't have a way of doing the same manipulation. So we have a database, or I have a query for a database expert. Please help me, I need help. And I hope today is the day that I get something concrete or help in this regard, so that I can start actually. I've done a lot of them. There's all sorts of different entities that need to be migrated, and now I've come across a couple that I can't get a one-to-one answer straight from the database, which then led me to doubt that I'm not getting the right data when I ask the question, can you help me, which table and which columns are these from? And then I found out these scripts. But anyway, I'll go fiddle with the database, and as soon as I hear about these drones, I'm going to drive home and to be here to sign them off, to receive them. So I'll compile this, and I want these to be 2 separate videos. So this is the first one where's my anticipation about it. And then the next one is about me unpacking it and doing stuff like that. And the third one is me doing my first flight, something like that. Well, let's see. Jesus is King. Amen.